I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jennette McCurdy. So I've just finished that, and what a wild ride it was. I listened to it as an audiobook. I didn't know much about it when I started. I basically was hooked by the title. It's like, how can you not respond to that title? There's so many reasons you'd be glad your mum died, and kind of burned to know which one it was going to be. I had a lot of Goodreads friends who've read it and enjoyed it, but I didn't read any of the reviews until I was well into the book. Mine was an audio, and it's narrated by the author, who was a professional actress for many years. I think there are some books that you listen to on audio because you just can't get them any other way. This book, I suspect, is probably better in audio than written form, and that's high praise because usually I prefer the voice in my head to the voice of the narrator. In this particular case, it's different. And Wikipedia tells me that I'm Glad My Mom Died originally started as a stand-up show or one-woman show that never quite made it due to COVID. Let me see. One-woman show titled I'm Glad My Mom Died, which she performed in Los Angeles and New York City. And then COVID happened, the world got the plague, and a lot of things stopped, so she turned it into a book. There's so many things about the audio that really works. I mean, when the narrator is the person who wrote the book, they obviously have an affiliation with the material that means that they get it, the emotions are right and everything. This particular narrator, as an actress, I was initially a little bit puzzled by her delivery. The delivery is very deadpan. And at first I thought, oh, this is a bit weird. She's an actress. You think there'd be more emoting. But instead it's very deadpan. She doesn't sound like she's smiling for most of it. But the more I listened to this style of narration, the more I liked it and the better I thought it went with this book. I think it went very well with this book. If you're debating for the audiobook versus the paper book, on this one I'd say go the audio, read by the author. This deadpan really worked because the writing here does something really quite unique. You follow Jennette as a young child with her batshite crazy mother. Batshite. If anyone ever needed mental help, that woman did. But she's telling the story from perspective of young her. She started acting, I believe, at 6. She's telling all these things about how her mum loves her and how good her mum is to her, but she's telling it as an adult. So the emotions are those of the child who thinks, oh, my mum loves me, but it's told in such a way that the adult knows that this was no kind of love. This was abuse. It's hard to explain, and I'm not sure that I've ever read a book that did quite this. Plays, yes, I've seen plays that did that. It's not even a unreliable narrator. The narrator is 100% reliable, but it's reliable, unreliable on 2 different scales. So the young child is telling how they're forced to sleep on the floor on inflatable mats meant for yoga because their mother's a hoarder and you can't get into the bedrooms anymore. And the child's going, well, that's how much mummy loves us. But the adult writer and narrator is telling it like it really is, not like the child sees it. It's really good. So this book should probably come with trigger warnings to just about anything that you can be triggered on. There's child abuse, borderline sexual abuse. No, it's not even borderline. It's sexual abuse by a parent. There's a whole heap of weird and harsh things in there. The writing was consistently fascinating, consistently intriguing. The book was so enjoyable that at times I actually listened to it when I wasn't in the car, and I normally listen to audios when I'm driving only. This one I'd bring into the house because I wanted to keep going with it. Occasionally you have to turn it off because you just can't bear any more of it. The story about how basically when she was 11 she was taught to be anorexic by her mother, groomed into anorexia, that was quite quite fascinating. And I think it highlighted the fact that in certain times and places we're trying to help children who are developing an eating disorder, but that really cast a harsh light on the fact that without the right sort of assistance from the parental or the home unit, nothing is going to get through. A word about the cover. So because mine was an audio and it was on my mobile phone, I couldn't actually see the cover too well. I thought that the image might have come from her show. It didn't come from the Nickelodeon show. It shows her as an adult holding what is apparently a pink funeral ashes urn with party streamers coming out of it. It's actually quite a cute cover. Couldn't see it too well on the phone, but there. What else to say about this? I think the story keeps its steam going for most of the book. Then there's a sort of post-mum stage where it sort of goes a bit all over the place, but I think that was reflective of the fact that the person herself was going a bit all over the place. The ending is pretty good. I really like the way it ended. I like the note of it. I like the fact that she'd managed to get herself out of a really deep, dark hole, or at least was on her way to climbing the ladder out. Yes, so as a result of this, I actually did go on the YouTube and I checked out a couple of the images of the show, and I mean, it's a Nickelodeon kids show. The butter sock that she kept referring to throughout the book. I had to figure out what the butter sock was. I mean, yep, that's Nickelodeon, isn't it? What else to really say about this? I think it was a great book. I don't read too many memoirs. This memoir was great. Apparently it's doing really, really well. Apparently Nickelodeon tried to buy her off so that she wouldn't write the things she did write. I'm pleased for her that her mum died, and I'm pleased for her that she survived her mum. Great book. Listen to it or read it, and tell me if you didn't like it, because I really don't see how you couldn't, but maybe some people didn't.